Om yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam yo vai vedascha prahinoti tasmai tamhadevam atmabuddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye kalindi phullakamale madhavena kridarata Brahmananda namastubhyam sadguru lokanayaka. My respectful pranams to Swami Atmapriyananda ji, who is presiding over the meeting today, and Swami Atmapriyananda ji, who is present in the audience. My respectful namaskars to all the monastic members, the sannyasins and the brahmachari, one lone brahmachari sitting here, and all the blessed devotees of this Bhuvaneshwara Math. All of you are really blessed because you have taken refuge at the feet of Swami Brahmananda. I briefly want to touch upon two aspects of Swami Brahmananda. One is his transcendental aspect. The other is aspect of compassion when he was dealing with his disciples and devotees. This runs parallel in the Ramakrishna tradition. Paratatve sadalino Ramakrishna samagyaya yo dharmasthapana Swami Vivekananda, Swami Sharadananda wrote, Paratatve sadalino, always immersed in the absolute. At the same time, because the command of Sri Ramakrishna, these great disciples lived as if they are living in this world, but they are not of it. One fundamental difference we should note between very, very ordinary sadhakas like us and these great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, what to speak of the Holy Mother Sharada Devi and Ramakrishna himself, is that their whole sadhana and attempt was how to bring the mind down. But our whole sadhana is how to take the mind up. If we take the mind up by a few centimeters, then immediately mind comes down several thousand kilometers. That's our problem. But in the case of people like Swami Vivekananda, Brahmananda, I leave out Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna. They are of course exceptional. Starting from Swami Vivekananda, Brahmananda and all the others, their main problem was how to bring the mind down to the world in order that they can bless others. Hundreds of instances of Swami Brahmananda's life you can see. Even Swami Vivekananda, because eclipsed by the glamour of his extraordinary oratory and his form, the way he influenced others, the tremendous spiritual and intellectual power that he oozed. So all that eclipses his tremendous spiritual power to be absorbed in the infinite. We should remember that Swami Vivekananda was brought down from the Saptarshi Mandala, where he was absorbed and immersed in Samadhi. Samadhi for him was a natural thing. We also recall Sri Ramakrishna asking him, "Ti ghumavar shomet jyoti dekhish? Do you see a light when you sleep?" Swami Vivekananda used to sleep in a very funny fashion. He used to see a light between the eyebrows, in the Ajna Chakra, and the light, the ball of light was to burst, and his entire body and mind were immersed in divine light, and he used to pass into sleep. There is not sleep, but it is a very high state of samadhi. Swamiji did not make much of it. In his innocent simplicity, he thought everybody sleeps like that. One important aspect of these great disciples is that they did not know their own greatness. They were not made to know by Sri Ramakrishna. They were so exceptional, they never realized. They thought they were most ordinary. Holy Mother used to say, "Oneke eshe pranam kore, keu na ki deputy, keu na ki boro, kintu ami to mukhujjir meye, amra ki ache emon." Some other time she used to say, "Er moddhe nischay ekta vaishishto ache, tale etgulo lok asche keno?" So this human and the divine was constantly playing with him. Swami Vivekananda thought everybody seems like that. Swami Vivekananda's greatness was hidden from him on purpose. Sri Ramakrishna said, the moment Naren knows his real Swarupa, he will no longer remain in this world. He will cut the bondage of Maya and pass into infinite. Last day of his life, towards the end of his life, not the last day, the fag end of his life, Swamiji, as usual, was joking and making fun with his companions and devotees and disciples. Suddenly one person asked, Swami, do you know your real nature now? Swamiji became extremely serious and said, yes, I know now. There's a hush of silence. People knew that Swamiji would not live long. Because Ramakrishna has predicted, the day he will know his real nature, where he came from, he will cut the bondage of Maya and fly off into the infinite. Sri Ramakrishna could hold him back, hold Swami Brahmananda back, hold Holy Mother back, hold all his disciples back, only with the one idea of compassion for the people in bondage. Sri Ramakrishna's compassion is boundless. Swami Vivekananda wrote about him, Bhaswara Bhava Sagara Chira Unmada Prema Pathar. Inexhaustible was his tremendous prema. Prema for God, Divine Mother Kali, and prema also for the devotees who was in bondage. He was crying, these devotees who were in bondage. Kolkata Lokera, Kolkata means educated people, Shikkhita Manush, Ashikkhito, Kushikkhito Amra, দুটি লেখাপড়া করে মনে করছে আমরা সব কিছু জানি. The first snubbing which he gave, the Master Moshe M in the Gospel, Ar Tumi Gyani. These three sentences, 3 words, completely crushed his ego. That's what he records himself. কলকাতার লোকেরা পোকার মতন কিলবিল করছে, তাদের তোমাকে দেখতে হবে. This was the command which she gave to Sarada Devi. Mother said, আমি তো মেয়ে মানুষ, আমি কি করব? না, তোমাকে অনেক কিছু করতে হবে. কিলবিল করছে মানে কামকাঞ্চনা, immersed in this world and valuing in this. Miss Josephine McLeod once saw from the Howrah Bridge, she saw some buffaloes bathing in the river, so much of mud. They are valuing in the mud. Then she remembered Swamiji used to say that all of us are valuing in the mud of samsara. And unfortunately, we are happy with that. Our main problem is not sadhana, is not realization, is not samadhi. Our main problem is that we don't understand that we are valuing. We simply be happy. Sometimes people tell us, sadhus, Maharaj, আপনারা বড্ড বেশি বৈরাগ্যের কথা বলতে থাকেন, সংসার কি এত খারাপ? ঠাকুরও বলেনি সংসার খারাপ বলেননি, but beyond this there is some world of infinity, world of light and world of infinite bliss. মোটামুটি তো ভালোই চলে যাচ্ছে. যাদের মোটামুটি চলে যাচ্ছে তাদের পক্ষে এখনো কিন্তু বেদান্ত আর স্পিরিচুয়ালিটি সময় আসেনি. ঠাকুর বলতেন না, ওর এখনো সময় আসেনি. সো আমাদের সময় এসেছে কিনা আমরা জানি না, খানিকটা বোধহয় এসেছে, না হলে আপনারা এসে বসে থাকতেন না. Somehow we feel there is a possibility of our going up. And these great souls are brought down by the will of Divine Mother. Sri Ramakrishna came as the incarnation of the Yuga Avatara. He brought his Shakti, he brought the Nararishi Narayana and Swami Vivekananda, brought his spiritual son in the form of Swami Brahmananda, and so many disciples, and the Guru Parampara still continues. Why? What for? To give liberation to people. Mukti Data and Yoga Sahaya. Swamiji uses this word. Whenever somebody wants to enter in the path of yoga, he gives support. He gives you encouragement. He gives you his blessings. You go one step, and God comes 10 steps to help you. You should remember the kind of sacrifice which Ramakrishna, Mother, Swamiji, Maharaj and others made for humanity. They were capable of remaining immersed in the highest samadhi, which they exhibited so many times in their lives. But they sacrificed the highest samadhi for the sake of all of us, so that we can be pulled up. How difficult was it to bring Swami Vivekananda's and Swami Brahmananda's mind down to the world? It's a record of Swamiji entering into samadhi, entering into the deepest of meditation hundreds of times when he was in the West. Swami Ashokananda records, Swamiji is full of meditation and full of samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna, after having pushed him to the West to preach spirituality to the worldly civilization of the Western people, he was constantly watching over Swamiji, lest Swamiji would pass into samadhi. Several occasions so happened. Swamiji was going into the flights of samadhi, almost getting absorbed in the absolute. Sri Ramakrishna appeared, pulling him down. On one occasion, Swami Vivekananda was speaking in Jnana Yoga lectures. His mind rose to such level, he saw the thousands of people present here. He can simply liberate them just by his sankalpa. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, Ekorina. There is a record of Swami Vivekananda in the midst of a lecture. Suddenly he left the lecture and ran away. So many interpretations were given. Some wicked people said, Swamiji memorizes his lectures. Today he is forgotten. So he ran away from there. Swamiji was asked and he said, my mind was rising so high and I felt within me tremendous upsurge of spiritual power. I would have taken the souls of all these people present here and thrown them into the infinite and the absolute. But Vedanta does not allow this. Everybody has to go through his own karma, and therefore I quickly left the place. There are so many instances. The kind of power which these people had, you cannot imagine. Swamiji's was not intellectual power or the power of gift of the gab, but spiritual power. Sri Ramakrishna poured his power into these disciples for the sake of the good of humanity. Swami Vivekananda and Swami Brahmananda apparently of contradictory nature, just like Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda themselves. Swami Vivekananda passed away 4th of July 1902, all of us know this. And 1901, he held the first meeting of the trustees of the Ramakrishna Mutt. The trust deed had been already sketchily and quickly Swamiji got it registered in the Howrah Court. Howrah Court is blessed. Swami Brahmananda has visited it. Swami Vivekananda has visited it. The first meeting, 1901, Swami Vivekananda was presiding over the meeting, and funnily he said there should be a democratic process. Each one of you should vote who will be the president. Swami Sharadananda proposes Swami Brahmananda. Swami Brahmananda proposes Swami Sharadananda. It's a great fun. Brahmananda, of course, was elected the president, the first president of the Ramakrishna order. And Swami Sharadananda was made the secretary. Swamiji himself made this. You know what was Swami Brahmananda's age at that time? He was just 38 years old. The first president of the order, 38 years old. And the manifestation of the spiritual power of Swami Brahmananda. And Swami Vivekananda said, whoever sits in the seat of the president, the power of Thakur will flow through him. Then he went and wanted to make pranams to Swami Brahmananda. Remember, these two were just almost contemporary. Swamiji was born in January, and about 9 days later, Brahmananda was born. And Swami Brahmananda was born on Shukla Dvitiya, which is the Janmatithi of Sri Ramakrishna himself. And Swami Vivekananda was born in Krishna Saptami, which is the Janmatithi of Holy Mother Sharada Devi. So I funnily think, imagine that just like Swami Brahmananda was the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda is the spiritual son of Sharada Devi. Every statement of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda contradicted, argued, will not accept. Not a single statement of Sharada Devi he dared to counter. Ma Bolachen, no more questions. Just like tigers and lions are tamed in circus, with a magnetic rod. The one mantra to tame this lion of Vedanta, this Simha, Purusha Simha, Swami Vivekananda, Ma, immediately he cowed down. Ma Bolachin, no more questions asked. He wanted to sell away Bellumat lands. Then mother said, Dekho Baba, tumi ki kore paro eta? Unilaterally tumi to Siddhanta nite paro na? Amar name likhe সংকল্প করেছো, রাখালকে লিখে দিয়েছো। তুমি তো একা সিদ্ধান্ত নিতে পারবে না। মা চাইছেন না, সঙ্গে সঙ্গে ছেড়ে দিলেন। স্বামীজি পাঠাবলি দিতে চাইছিলেন বেলুর মঠে। তামসিক হয়ে বসে আছো, তোমার রক্তের স্বাদ দেখাবো, জেগে উঠো। Mother said, জীব হিংসা করা ঠিক হবে না, এটা সন্ন্যাসীদের আশ্রম। Immediately dropped the idea. And the kind of affection and love which Swamiji and Raja Maharaj have for each other is divine and incomprehensible by the human mind. Just like the Nara Narayana Leela, Nararishi Swami Vivekananda, Narayana Sri Ramakrishna. Similar to that is the Hariharatma Leela. Hari is Vishnu, Narayana, and Hara is Mahadeva, Shiva. And these two apparently have just opposite natures. Shiva is so liberal, Ashutosha immediately getting pleased, giving boons to anybody and everybody without his deserving it, and getting into trouble. Bhasmasura's story we know. Bhasmasura said, what is the boon you want? Whosoever whose I touch on the head, he will get burnt to ashes. Bhasma hoye jabe. Tathastu. Ashutosha immediately said yes. Then Bhasmasura wanted to test it on Shiva himself. Shiva is running for his life. Bhasmasura is chasing him. Then intervention of Vishnu, he became a Mohini, and then you know the story. So every time Swami Brahmananda is watching over Swami Vivekananda, because he is so liberal, he will do all kinds of things. Vivekananda was going in a coach. He had a golden watch, which is donated to him probably by Ramtirtha. And the coachman was looking at this watch very intensely, because it's so beautiful, so expensive. Swamiji's formula was, anything that you admire is yours. Tomar ki bhalo lagche? Now, এটা তোমার. Swami Brahmananda constantly watching. Swamiji came back, he saw the watch is not there. He understood, called the coachman. Hey, Swamiji তোকে দিয়েছেন? হ্যাঁ, মহারাজ দিয়েছেন। 100 টাকা দেবো তো দিয়ে দিবি তো? In those days, 100 rupees, and that watch is still there in the museum at Belur Math and giving right time. Swamiji was so liberal to the fault. But Brahmananda apparently was extremely careful. He will not give mantra diksha to anybody and everybody. Somebody goes for mantra diksha, today I'm not well, come tomorrow, come in the morning, come in the afternoon, just to test him whether he is really serious. It went to such an extent, Ramakrishna perhaps also could not quite appreciate that. Swami Brahmananda had gone to watch the Ramanuja Charit, the theatre, Girish Chandra Ghosh. There's a scene when Ramanuja was given the Mahamantra by his Guru. And his Guru instructed him, don't tell this to anybody. Ramanuja says, the disciple, young disciple, what will happen if I tell this? Bolle ki habe? The Guru got irritated. Jarai mantra shunbe, tara mukti pabe, tui jabi norake. Beta Gurur bakko lingam karo. Then what did Ramanuja do? Immediately got up the temple top, called everybody, come. I am going to tell you a Mahamantra. All of you will be liberated. What if I go to hell? I mean, Aruke Javasate ki hoyeche. At the time, Sri Ramakrishna appeared before Rakhal. Dakho ki korche. Tu eto kripan keno? It is said, afterwards he opened up. These disciples, we should remember, it is recorded. Everything is absolutely, fully recorded by their disciples. They were constantly in touch with Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna was constantly guiding them and speaking to them. Even small matters. Swami Brahmananda, like a child, will keep on changing his decisions sometimes. And Obhiman kora boli na Banglate. In English it's called pick, P-I-Q-U-E. He used to get picked sometimes. Swami Kailashananda, who mentored me in my teenage for 5 years, I grew up constantly being scolded by Swami Kailashananda. He used to say, "Tomra Bhagavan, Bhagyesh tomra Mahapurush Maharaj, Shoshi Maharaj ke dakho nahi." Keno Maharaj? Ekdin thakte parbe na oder songe. They were living in such high moods. And when they will do what, when they will scold you, when they will bless you, when they will love you, nobody knows. So Swami Brahmananda was in Chennai, and he was bringing the almanac, Panchangam, to find out what is the correct auspicious date to leave, Panjika Niyalin. Abani Maharaj, Swami Prabhavananda later on, was sarcastically smiling. Why are you smiling like that? Maharaj, apni to bahubar date ঠিক করবেন কোনোদিন কিন্তু ওইদিকে যাবেন না কতবার পরিবর্তন করবেন কোনো ঠিক নেই. Maharaj became very serious. Do you mean to say I do anything of my own accord? Then he said, by whose will are you operating? I operate only by God's will. Again he said, you may imagine God's will. Your own will you project on God. Then Brahmananda said a stunning statement. I talk to God and find out what is His will. এরপরে কি বলবেন? ঈশ্বরের সঙ্গে কথা বলে তার ইচ্ছাকে আমি জেনে নিই। এরপরে আপনার কিছু বলার নেই। Every one of their movements, starting from booking a train ticket to the highest spiritual matters, they always referred it to God, and God was constantly guiding him. There's a small book, Sri Ramakrishna Upadesh. I don't know whether it's in Orissa. If Orissa or Bengali or English, please do read that book. Swami Ashokananda says in one place, a time will come, people will carry this book and read it in trams and trains in the streets. Most authentic record of Swami Sri Ramakrishna's sayings by Swami Brahmananda. The story is, when Swami Brahmananda was recording these sayings, once Sri Ramakrishna appeared before him, Rakhal, ami to oirakam bolini re, ami erakam bolechi. He corrected the whole thing. So I very reverentially and funnily think, Sri Ramakrishna Upadesh, Brahmananda Shankalito, Sri Ramakrishna Sampadito, edited by Sri Ramakrishna himself. We have heard from elders, trustee meeting will be held. Imagine the trustee meeting in the old days. Swami Brahmananda is the president, Sharadananda is secretary, all the direct disciples, all of them. And Sri Ramakrishna's context will constantly come. Thakure Prasanga ekta elo. Je Murte Thakure Prasanga, Brahmananda used to go to Samadhi. Samadhi was most natural to him. He used to struggle to bring his mind down. Then he used to get up and dance. All the trustees used to dance around him. The trustee meeting is over. So what will be recorded? So this was the divine Sangha. We are extremely fortunate. It's an understatement if you say this, that we have become part of the Sangha, part of this organization, part of this order, which is directly created by God Himself. And He is even now looking after this. Even in trivial matters, Ramakrishna used to interfere. What to speak of high spiritual matters? There's a pumpkin which has grown in the garden at Belur Math. And Swami Premanandaji was the manager. Doyar Shorir, একজন কর্মচারী অথবা কোনো মালিকে বলেন, এই এটা নিজে কেটে খা। মহানন্দে হাতে নিয়ে মাথায় নিয়ে নাচতে নাচতে যাচ্ছে। Swami Brahmananda seeing from a distance called Baburam Maharaj, Baburam da, মঠের জিনিসগুলো এরকম করে বিলি করলে মঠ চলবে কি করে? Premananda was terribly picked. প্রচণ্ড অভিমান হলো না। আমি ম্যানেজার হয়ে একটু কাউকে একটি কুমড়ো দিতে পারবো না? তার জন্য প্রেসিডেন্ট আমাকে বকবে? আমি থাকবোই না এখানে। He was trying to get out. ছোট গেট আছে না বেলুর মঠে, ওখান থেকে বেরোচ্ছিলেন। Suddenly he saw গামছা দিয়ে কেউ টানছে পেছনে। পেছনে দেখলেন ঠাকুর দাঁড়িয়ে আছেন। কে রে, কোথায় যাচ্ছিস? আমি তো আছি এখানে। Once I told in the Hits conference, The problem is on Kumudo, on pumpkin, and two Brahmaga Purushas, Swami Brahmananda and Swami Premananda, Ishvara Kotis. They're quarreling over a pumpkin. To solve this problem, Ramakrishna had to come. If Ramakrishna comes with such a problem, then serious problems definitely he is coming. Swami Vivekananda wrote in the rules book of Ramakrishna Math that he is ever present in this order, constantly guiding us, is very clear to those who actually realize it. Ramakrishna has not given up his Ramakrishna form. He will remain in that form till he comes again as an avatara. Believe this. See, we do not know much. At least we can believe, because Swami Vivekananda and Brahmananda, whatever they say, comes directly from God. How many stories? Shashi Maharaj. Remember, all of them almost of the same age. Shashi Maharaj, Swami Ramakrishna was born a few months later, in July, and Vivekananda and Brahmananda was born in January. But Shashi Maharaj used to consider Brahmananda as God himself, as Thakur himself. See, it is easy to consider Swami Vivekananda as one with Thakur. Thakur himself said this, he is your leader. But to consider Swami Brahmananda at the same position is not easy for a person almost of the same age. Contemporaries cannot easily look like that. But Shashi Maharaj knew the power of Ramakrishna is working through him. There is a very touching story. Ma kintu tele bhaja khete bhalobasten. Tele bhaja bujen to? Tele bhaja and muri was his favorite. In Jairambati, even though they have it. Towards the end of his mother's life, mother was very eager to take some tele bhaja, fried with brinjal. Sharat Maharaj was hesitating. Doctor said, no, it's a strict no. Her health will not allow this, you should not give this. Then Sharat Maharaj said, Ma, mother was very unhappy because she somehow felt her mother passed away. Sharat Maharaj was crying and crying. Sesharadike Ma ke dite ballam na. You know how he solved the problem? He called Rakhal and said, Rakhal, tomake tele bhaja khao. Because you are one with Ramakrishna and mother. And Rakhal Maharaj could eat well. That you should remember. Look at his figure. Like a king. And he was very fond of tasting good food. Swami Nirvedananda, founder of the Bulgaria Students' Home, came to Swami Brahmananda, who was his guru. Maharaj, apni Bulgaria jite habe apnake. Jite habe? Ki khave? Apni chaha bol ben khao. Brahmananda dictated a big list of the choicest items. And even now, on 24th of December every year, it is being celebrated, Brahmananda's, and then all the items. So, our sadhus and devotees of 24th December, they will definitely go. Such choicest items. And Brahmananda, it is not why he was asking, I should eat this, I should smoke. Here, in this blessed veranda in front of Swami Brahmananda's room, that veranda has seen so much of samadhi, so much of absorption in God, so much of meditation. Just sitting there, not meditating, not thinking of God, is itself is an elevating experience. And another veranda in Chennai Mutt, where Swami used to pace up and down, and constantly his mind was soaring up. It is recorded, Swami Nirvanananda ji, Sulji Maharaj, who became the president later on, was Ekanishta Sevak, Saja Maharajar. Tini tamakta niye pichone pichone jeten. Maharajar monta emon story উঠে যাচ্ছে এক সেকেন্ডের জন্য একটু যদি নামে চট করে ওটা দিতে হবে ওটা দিলে আস্তে আস্তে কমে আসবে ওই মুহূর্তটা দিয়ে ছেড়ে দাও আবার চলে গেল So just if you meditate on all this various incidents of Swami Brahmananda, at the same time he was so full of compassion. Here in this Bhuvaneshwar Mutt, the reminiscence of Tara Sundari, if you read, just 2-3 pages. Nobody can read that small reminiscence without tears in his or her eyes and without crying. Tara Sundari says, Swami Brahmananda ভুবনেশ্বরে মঠে আছেন, শুনে তিনি এসেছেন নটি বিনোদিনীকে নিয়ে। গিরিশচন্দ্র ঘোষের থিয়েটার ওরা কিন্তু অংশগ্রহণ করতো। তখনকার দিনে মেয়েরা যখন থিয়েটারে করতো, সমাজ ওদের ভালো চোখে দেখতো না, অত্যন্ত পতিতা নারী বলে ওরা ঘৃণা করত। এখানে আসবেন, we are so hesitant whether I should meet. He came at a very odd time. Brahmananda has taken his prasad, noon prasad, was about to go for rest. Then these two women came. Brahmananda called them with great compassion. Aha, তোমরা এত অসময়ে এসছো, তোমাদের ভালো করে খাওয়াতে পারবো না। Gave them fruits and sweets, etc. আর একদিন খবর দিয়ে আসবে, তোমাদের ভালো করে খাওয়াবো। Then this little girl, she has grown up at that time, broke down, cried and cried bitterly, catching hold of his feet. She says in the reminiscence, who am I? What is my status in society? Down, down, down below. Who is he? Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna and the Paramadhyaksha of the Ramakrishna Sangha, and a Brahmagya. So much of compassion. I lost my father at a very young age. I did not know what is father's love. Nobody has looked upon me except with evil eye. Genuine, selfless, pure love I had never tasted in my life. Then she said, Maharaj, সংসারের দুঃখে আর পারছি না। Then Maharaj said, মা, সকলেরই অবস্থা আসে। আমি যখন ঠাকুরের কাছে ছিলাম, এত সংসারের টান অনুভব করেছিলাম, ভাবলাম ঠাকুরের কাছে থেকে এই চিন্তাগুলো কিন্তু ভালো না। I should run away from here. Living in Dakshineshwar in the company of Sri Ramakrishna, these kind of worldly thoughts should not come to me. I will run away leaving him. Suddenly he appeared before me. Ore, ki bhavchis re? Then he put his hand upon my head and my heart. Then Ananda welling up, Ananda, Ananda, Ananda keval. And I was so full of joy. Then Tarasundari broke down completely and said, Thakur যেমন তোমাকে করে দিয়েছিলেন, আমাকে করতে পারবে না? We should remember the kind of compassion they had for people in bondage. So my feeling is, not advice to all of you are senior devotees, many of you, go to God with like a child. Don't be hesitant. Don't think that they are so great, cannot remember that I have a body, so I'm constantly looking into this. So all these various incidents, their lives and their teachings, so simple all the while. He was very fond of playing with children and very fond of playing tricks. Swami Atmapriyananda will give you more of these reminiscences. Once in Chennai, he was going to a bazaar and moving around where a lot of vegetables were sold. He went to a vegetable shop. There's potatoes. He found out what is this price, etc. Give me one potato. Then that shopwala was irritated. Are you joking with me? Go. Then he smiled and went away. A brinjal shop, one brinjal he wanted. Because the sadhu is asking, he happily gave it. Within half hour, the entire vegetable, the whole thing was exhausted and sold. আধ ঘন্টার মধ্যে ও যা নিয়েছো সব বিক্রি হয়ে গেল। The next day when he used to go to the bazaar, all the shopkeepers come to try, come to me. Whatever he touched turned to gold. That's why Swami Brahmananda inaugurated the students' home in Madras. Shashi Maharaj started it, and then he was offering the flowers to Sri Ramakrishna Arghya and went to the Samadhi. Short speech he gave, very rarely he spoke. There is a palace has been built for the poor. Once he was presiding over a meeting and people said, you should speak. He did not say anything. At the end they said, now President's address. He got up and said, my address is Swami Brahmananda, Post Office Belurma, District Howrah, West Bengal. Address to Bolidiluni. He used to play jokes, particularly with children he used to play, and he was very fond of catching fish, just to bring his mind down. A gentleman had come to see the president, and he saw president is catching fish. He was so angry, irritated, I will never come again. This is the level of the president. But he goes home, like a magnet, that image of Swami Brahmananda sitting there was pulling him again and again. He came back after a few days and he saw Brahmananda in Samadhi. We should remember they were men of Samadhi, constantly immersed in God. With so much of sacrifice they came down. I will end with the last incident with Ramakrishna himself. He is very ill in Kashipur, almost dying with deadly cancer. Then he calls his disciples and he said, Tora jodi bolish, tahale shorita chhede debo. Ar parchinare khub kashta hoche. Nitya Shuddha Mukta Swabhava, the infinite God, the absolute, ever free, he is asking permission from his disciples to leave the body. This is the power of love. All of us have that power. Thakur bolchen na, prothom tini bodo chumbak hoye amader tanen, bhaktader, pore bhaktora bodo chumboke Ishwarke tanen. She called avatarana, avatara. Out of compassion for us, he comes down. That means Ishvara can be conquered and conquered only by pure love. Ami mukti dite katar noi, bhakti dite katar hoi. Bolchen na, Shuddha bhakti can conquer him. These are the great lessons which we learn from him. All that we need to do is very simple. Just think of these incidents, think of their form, think of their name, meditate on them and chant his japa, and then mukti is near at hand. Thakur repeatedly told Master Mahashaya, which is not in the gospel, it is in the Srimad Darshan, repeatedly. Toder kichu korte habe na, ekhankar chinta karo. That means think of me. Ekhankar chinta korle, pitar sampad jemon shantanera paye, amar samasto adhyatik sampad tora pabe. Then Master Mahashaya adds, tar sampad ki jano, Gyan, Bhakti, Viveka, Vairagya, Shanti, Sukha, Prema, Samadhi. Just you have to know he is your divine father and mother and guru, and you should just say, think of him. Succession certificate is required to get the property of the father. The succession certificate, you know where it is? That form that you filled up during the Diksha time, that is preserved in Belur Math in the computerized, signed by the Guru, certified by the Guru. Who is he? Who is she? He is asking for my sampatti. Do you know him? The Guru will say, yes, he is my disciple, give it. Just happily we can go, provided we can think of him constantly. Manmana bhava madhubhakto madhyaje mam namaskuru mayeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim nivesha. Same thing has been told by Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit, repeated by Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali. Just remember, we are his children and we have right to his property, spiritual property, not cringing, not begging. We have all the right to get it, provided we can say that we are his followers. Ram Prasad. Shiver dolil shil mohare rekhechi hriday khule ebar nalish korbo nather ghare dikri lobo ek shavale. The document, mother, which you signed that you will save me, that is still with me, I kept it in my heart. If you break that contract, I will go to Mahadeva's court and sue you. Dikri lobo ek shavale. And remember, now the media is very powerful. Breaking news, mother and son fight in the court. Dhoom hobe Ram Prasad bole. So we should have that tremendous conviction and power. You challenge him, cry before him, not cringe before him. Swamiji said, there's no cringing and fawning. Demand from him, I am your child, you have brought me here, don't deprive me. Thank you.